Hello everyone, welcome to What is Medical Billing and Coding? And that's me, I'm your trainer Arnisa, and I am a certified medical coder located in San Antonio, Texas. I have over 20 years experience in the medical field, and I have taught physician practice management courses throughout the United States. Now let's take a look at what a medical coder does. So a medical coder translates clinical documentation into the form of HIPAA-compliant codes. Now these codes are transmitted in the form of claims. Now a medical biller follows up on these claims, posts payments, file appeals, and generate statements. So in this next segment, we'll take a detailed look at each of these tasks. So now we're going to take a look at the medical coder's task, or basically the resources used to perform the tasks that we just discussed. Now there are 3 manuals that a medical coder needs in order to process claims. The first is ICD-10-CM, which is our diagnostic coding. So this manual provides codes for conditions such as the flu, COVID-19, and seasonal allergies. The CPT manual provides codes for our services and procedures, like our doctor's visits, as well as administration services such as phlebotomy and injections. And the last manual that a medical coder uses is the HCPCS manual. Now you can think of HCPCS as an overflow to CPT. And in this manual, we'll see codes for things such as durable medical equipment like wheelchairs and crutches, orthotics, and like you see on the screen, injectables. Now the claims processing step is auto-generated. So you can think of it as an intermediary between the medical coding task and the medical billing task. Now let's take a look at the medical biller's task. They follow up on the claim status to find out why a particular claim has not been paid, and this can be done by phone or online if possible. They also post payments from the EOBs into the EHR system for the open claims. They generate statements to the patients as well as call the patients to remind them of their balance. And finally, they appeal denied claims. So this is a process of requesting a reconsideration of a claim that was previously denied by the insurance company. For example, let's say we submitted a claim and it was past the deadline of the claim submission for the insurance. Now, if we have a good reason for that claim being submitted past the timely filing deadline, then we need to appeal it either in writing or electronically if electronic transmission is allowed. Okay everyone, now it's time to practice with some ICD-10-CM coding exercises. Now the ICD in ICD-10-CM stands for the International Classification of Disease Systems. This is the 10th revision, or you can say the 10th version of this particular manual. And it's clinical modifications because it's designed for us to use in our doctor's offices. Now, it's published every October. So let's start by looking at the task of the medical coder. So our first condition is the flu. So using the enclosed resources, let's go to ICD-10 alphabetic index.
So if you're using a resource such as the PDFs or a coding manual, your starting point will always be the alphabetic index when searching for a code. So what I normally do is I go straight to the letter of the condition that we're looking up. So it was the flu. Then I go to Edit Find, and then in the search field, I type in flu. And then you click Next until we see the term in bold and all the way to the left. That is what we call our main term. So I see the flu in bold, all the way to the left, no indents, but it says, see also influenza. Now we know that influenza is the full name for the flu. So let's search influenza. So again, I'm going to type on or click on the letter I so that I can get closer to the code I'm trying to look up. So I'm going to type now influenza and then click Next until I get to the main term in bold. And I see influenza. It gives me these modifiers, which may be in my documentation or may not. And the code is J11.1. Now, using these manuals, we do not stop here. So now we have to go to our tabular list to confirm that we selected the right code. So I'm going to Edit and then Find. And this time I'm going to type in the code, J11.1. And I'm going to hit Next until I see it on the left as a main term or category. So here I see that J11.1 is for our influenza. Now, it does not state that I need to divide this code any further. So then our correct code is J11.1. Our next condition is seasonal allergies. So let's go back to our alphabetic index, and we always start with the broadest term. So the broadest term for me will be allergy. So using the alphabetic index, I'm going to A's, and then I'm going to type in allergy as the broadest term, and we're looking for the main term in bold. But we have a specific type. So when you get a specific type, you have to move over one indent, and we're going to look for seasonal. So we move to our first indent all the way down, and we're looking for the S's. And I get seasonal as J30.2. But we do not stop here. I need to type in J30.2, and it says other seasonal allergic rhinitis. And again, I do not see anything more specific underneath. Otherwise, it would have shown like this other allergic rhinitis telling me that I have to use an additional code. So J30.2 is my code. And on to our next example is the common cold. Now let's see how we can locate this particular condition. So let's go to the C's in the alphabetic index, and I'm going to type in cold. And you see cold says J00. Now common, it says common head J00. So the default code, which is the code immediately to the right of the main term, is the code that's commonly used. So common head code is the same. So J00. So let's go to our tabular list for J00. And I'm going to look at previous because I see that I'm in the J31. So I need a J0. And we get J00, acute nasopharyngitis. That's the medical term. So as a medical coder, you will need a background in medical terminology. And then here's common cold. Our next condition is hypertension, which you may refer to as high blood pressure. So let's start with our alphabetic index and locate the code. So this time we're going to the H, and I'm going to type in hypertension. And again, I'm looking for the term in bold. And I see hypertension as I-10. So let's go to our tabular list, and I'll type in I-10. And here I get to I-10, essential hypertension, and it says includes high blood pressure. So that looks like our code. Now for this last condition, I'm going to search for the code using an ICD-10-CM coding manual. Now for those of you who are planning on taking a certification exam, you will need hard copy books. And you don't have to buy an expensive version. There are a lot of resale on Amazon, for instance. But in the real world, we usually use Google to search for our terms, or you can use PDFs, or whatever your practice has to offer. So let's search for this code using a coding manual. So our term is migraine. So I will be utilizing an ebook, and it's Bucks 2020 ICD-10-CM for physicians. So in the ebook, I go to the alphabetic index, and I'm going to the index to diseases and injuries, and I'm going to go click on the M's. And then I'm going to click on the search button, and in the field, type in migraine. Same concept, except for my main terms appear in pink and bold. So the books add a little bit more color for you. So I'm on 332, so I need to go a little further to get to migraine. And I need the beginning because there's different types, but my documentation just said migraine. So the code is G43.909, shown here at the bottom. So what I'm going to do in my ebook, and if you were using a hard copy, you would flip your pages until you get to your tabular listing for the letters G. So G43.909. And this time I'm searching for the code in the tabular list. And you see I'm looking for G43.909, which is migraine unspecified, right? Because that's all our documentation said. Now you notice here, what you like about the coding manuals, if an alphabetic index would have led me to G43.9, this red dot tells me that this is not a billable code, that I need to search for something more specific. So if I go to G43.90, I still need something more specific. So the most specific code is G43.909. Now it's your turn to shine. So using your resources, you're going to identify the ICD-10-CM codes for these conditions. Your first condition is cat dander allergies. Your second condition is rhinitis. Your third condition is smoker's cough. Your fourth condition is rash. And your final condition is cluster headache. Good luck, everyone, and the answers will be revealed in the next lecture. Let's check your answers. Your first condition was cat dander allergies. So let's head over to the PDFs. So we start off with the letter A and then type in allergy and look for it as the main term. And I see here animal dander or dander is J30.81. So we go to the tabular listing and we see J30.81 is allergic rhinitis due to animal and cats, which was our example, hair and dander. So J30.81. Your next example was rhinitis. Now, if you don't see a condition shown as acute or chronic, we always assume that it is acute. So let's see if we can find acute rhinitis. So back to our alphabetic index. I'm going to find rhinitis. And then you notice that the acute leads back to that J00 for the common cold. So let's check our tabular list. And we go to Edit Find, then J00. And next until we get to our main term or category, and it includes acute rhinitis. So J00. Your next example was smoker's cough. So we'll start with the broadest term, which is cough. Let's go to our C's and cough. And we're looking for smokers, which is J41.0. And I'll highlight it for you here. So let's go to the tabular list. And J41.0 is simple chronic bronchitis. So what this is saying is that the cough is due, or the smoker's cough will fall under this category. Your next example was rash. So let's go back to the R's. And I will type in rash. And rash gives me R21. So let's confirm that. And we get R21 is rash and other non-specific skin eruption. And your last example was cluster headache. So let's click on the letter H. Type in headache. So headache and then cluster is here, G44.009. So we type that in our tabular list and we get G44.009, cluster headache syndrome. So great job, everyone.